What's up, guys? Ultimate RC here. We are going to go for a nice little night walk with our SCX6 here on the Fox River Trail in Green Bay. They've got all the lights on the trees done up. It's a beautiful night. There's a nice snowfall coming down. So we're just going to enjoy a nice crawl with the SCX6 honcho. And we might see if there's a few obstacles. We can try some things along the way. So check it out. So we got these benches here, and they've got a pretty steep incline. We're gonna see if we can't crawl up it. So we're gonna put the crawler gear on, the honcho, and see if the front, if it can even get the front end up. I doubt, with how steep that is, it'll even get the front end up that. Yeah, it's actually hitting the front bumper and just sliding down. However, we've got a spot over here. That's an incline. There's the Rainichke Bridge, and they can change the colors on those lights. So on game days, they change them to green and gold, and holidays, they change the colors to be appropriate too. So yeah, this is not quite as steep of an incline, but still snowy and slippery. So let's see what happens. We can at least get up onto the incline, but once we get up the incline, that's about all we got. And you know, it'd be a good idea to bring this thing out here when it's not wintry or wet or slippery and see how it climbs some of these things, because these are some good obstacles with some angles. I would say that's about a 45 degree right there. And those benches right there are, oh gosh, I would say about 70 degrees or so. So be interesting to see what some of our trucks can do out here. But look at the snow. We're actually going through about, I'd say, an inch, 2 inches of snow here. And of course, SCX6 don't care. SCX6 just drives through what it wants. All right, back into the trail gear. So in our truck here tonight, we've got two 5,300 milliamp hour batteries, giving us a total of 10,600 milliamps, because they're wired in parallel, not in series. So important distinction there. Series is what is referred to as S. When you see 4S, 3S, 2S, adds the voltages together, combines them, where parallel combines the milliamp hours. All right, you know what? This is a much shallower incline. We're gonna see if we can climb this in the snow, get up this incline, see if we get enough traction out of these J-Concept. I forget which ones these are, if they're tusks or no, these are landmines. The J-Concept's landmines. Oh, okay. We're almost getting up and over this here with a little wheel speed. There we go. We made it over. Look at that. I'll take that. We're not going to get up that incline. That's about probably 40, 45 degrees or so again. But the fact that we got up over that in snow, that's a win. That's a W. It'll be interesting to see. We can get up this one here and go up that and see if we can do a transfer onto that surface. Let's see if we can try it. Oh, it gets up almost all the way to the top, crawling. You get a little momentum behind it. It gets going. All right. Oh, you know what? This just might do it if we can get it right here. Ooh, ooh. Can we get down without rolling over? Okay, we did. That was close. And in the snow, guys? All right, here, we'll do this the right way. We'll get our speed to get over the bump. There we go. Now we'll see if we can't. That is a big ledge, though, even for the SCX6. Wait. You know what? If this were dry here, that would go for sure. That would go for sure. Okay, try this again. We're going to take a second to talk about perfect pass in this video. So, I got the 5th scale Monster Servo, Monster XL Servo, I believe is what it's called, from Perfect Pass for this truck. And I'm a big fan of Perfect Pass servos. They make my favorite 10 scale servo. Can we do it? Can it make it? What is that? Oh my gosh, it practically cliff hung on the side of all that. I hope I got that good in the camera because that was pretty epic. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying about Perfect Pass. So I originally bought the Perfect Pass servo for this truck when the stock servo started to show it was going out, okay? And that's not uncommon for these trucks because Spectrum is pretty notorious for putting underpowered servos in, I'm not going to say all of their rigs, but some of their rigs. You know, like I'll give an example. My 6 scale trucks, that would be or 6 or 7 scale, it would be 7th or 8th scale. So my 7th or 8th scale trucks, like the Bashers, the Fire Team, the Mojave 6S, the Creighton, and the Notorious, all of those have been fine with their servos. I haven't changed those servos, and I haven't really felt the need to. They actually are decent servos, and they've got some decent strength and power to them. Here we go. We're just gonna ride this V and then descend down out of it. There we go. Wow, look at how deep that snow is. Anyway, but vehicles like these 6 scale ones, like the SCX6s we have here, and the Losi Super Baja Ray 2.0, okay, that's the big trophy truck. Both of those have, I think, the same servo, but if not the same size servo, if they're not the exact same one, but they're the same size, and they're a weird, like 6 scale size servo because they're not quite a 5th scale size. Because when you got to put when you actually do put a 5th scale servo in, you've got to get a different servo mount because the stock servo mount is not big enough for a 5th scale. Anyway, getting back to what we were saying about that. Look at this thing. It is just plowing through the snow. Look at this deep snowbank here. And I'll tell you what, the megalithic tires really do make a difference for that. I'm wondering if I can get up on this step with a little speed and momentum. I don't think so. There must be a lip on that step. Maybe if I side it. Yeah. Oops, I'm getting the truck out of shot here. I wonder if I can use the snow to help climb the stairs here and get me up. Okay. You know, that's a challenge right there, especially in the snow and the slippery conditions. Anyway, man, I keep getting sidetracked with how great this thing is driving and plowing through the snow. So when it came time to replace this servo and the one in my Super Baja Ray 2.0, I ended up getting the Perfect Pass Monster XL servo. 110 kilograms of force. You know, it can literally lift a human being. And the one in my Super Baja Ray was perfect. It worked great. The one that I got for this one, though, something was off. And I had emailed Perfect Pass back well within the warranty period of the servo, and I didn't hear anything, sadly. And, you know, these kinds of things can happen with small companies sometimes, just because depending on if the owner is trying to run things themselves or if they're in the process of trying to get a support team, like through a contracted support team unit or whatever setup, just sometimes things happen and there's a lot to juggle on one's plate. And me, I'm a business owner too. And I'll tell you what, if you let your business consume you, you have no time for yourself to just live life and enjoy it. So you got to get help somehow, whether that help be automation or whatever. So anyway, getting back, the first servo that I bought for this truck didn't quite have it. And the problem was that it was stalling out. It was browning out this truck. I had plugged it directly into the receiver because according to Perfect Pass's website, it should have been able to run right off the stock BEC in the built into the ESC of the truck. But it was browning it out, and it was browning it out just turning it like sitting stationary on a linoleum kitchen floor. So I thought, well, gee, maybe it is a little bit more power hungry servo, or maybe the stock electronics in the SCX6 just don't quite do it. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if the stock electronics in this truck didn't have a strong enough BEC for a more powerful aftermarket servo. I got a external BEC. I got the Hobbywing 10 amp BEC, which is 10 amps continuous and 25 amps peak. So that BEC is more than enough to run the Perfect Pass servo, and I was still having issues. with the Perfect Pass servo. It was kind of slowing down and getting sluggish, you know, if it was turning, like it just didn't seem to have enough power to really drive the truck properly and turn the wheels. So now we're months later, because I kind of stopped using this truck for a little while, and I get it back out again, and I'm like, oh wow, that's right, my servo was having issues. So I contact Perfect Pass again, and I talk to their support. And funny thing about Perfect Pass is that Roz has asked their staff to call themselves the Stig, which I think is clever, because they're likely a team of people in a call center somewhere that, you know, gets contracted out to help for customer service, because that's what a lot of customer service places are these days, especially for small business. And I think it's clever because on Top Gear, the Stig was always a mystery who it was, and there was multiple people who were the Stig, but they were always called the Stig. So just a cute, clever nod to petrol head enthusiasts, and I like that. Anyway, I was emailing back and forth with customer service. I took a couple videos of the issues I was having with the servo and sent them over, and their customer support team did send those videos on to Roz, who looked at them and confirmed that, yeah, something's definitely wrong. You know, they asked me what I did to troubleshoot things already, and I told them that I pretty much did everything to troubleshoot that it was the servo. I even took my own meter and hooked it up to the BEC to make sure I was getting the correct voltage out of the external BEC I was using, and made sure everything was good to go. Well, it was pretty fairly well determined that the servo was the issue. And mind you, now at this point, the servo is past the warranty period. However, I had reported the issue and emailed within the warranty period, which I did provide proof that I had written to them, to their previous Perfect Pass email account that they had listed on their website at the time. So there was documentation that I did, in good faith, try to report the issue in a timely manner. After a little bit of going back and forth with the Stigs, they gave me Roz's direct phone number to call, and I called and I spoke directly with him, and we had a wonderful conversation. You know, I also pointed out to him that this isn't my first experience with Perfect Pass servos, that I own no less than, I counted them, and I have at least 18 of their 10th scale 56 kilogram monster servos, okay? And then I had 2 of these XL 5th scale 110 kilogram servos. And then I was like, you know, I really think it's the servo here, and can we do a replacement exchange? And I mean, I'll even pay to ship it back too, because I understand, you know, and stuff like that. And Roz was a class act, man. He actually said, no, I got you. I'm all about my community. I'm all about my fans. And I'm going to send you a shipping label. You ship it back to me. I'll take the hit on this. He had a new servo sent out to me, and he actually didn't even wait till it had to be received. I just provided proof that it had been shipped, and they shipped me the new one. And after I got the new one, I installed it, and it is perfect. Just like the name implies, Perfect Pass. It's a perfect servo. It is strong. Look at that going. Anyway, so he sent me that new servo. It's been perfect. It's strong. Like, just look at that. And this thing is no slouch. It weighs 28 pounds empty. So no batteries. So once you put the batteries in it, it's even heavier. And then once you get a bunch of snow on it like we are tonight, it gets even heavier still. I just turned the cruise control on to let it drive itself for a second. So, long story short, I want to give a big shout out to Roz for not only making a great product, because, I mean, again, their servos are fantastic and they do a great job with them. The specifications that they have them built to, and then on top of that, the machining they do on the servo housings and how good they look. They're just really a great product. So no, I'm not endorsed or anything like that by them. I've paid for everything that I've gotten for them, for all the servos and everything like that. But just to be a good community member here too, like Roz is to us, I want to shout them out and say, if you're looking for an awesome servo that gives you great performance, and honestly, the performance for the money that you pay for them too, because they are up there with the shift servos, the reef servos. I think you pay a little less per ounce-inch of torque or kilogram or whatever you want to, however you want to measure it. I think you get a little more bang for your buck with these. So they're really great. Highly recommend them. For this particular truck, I would recommend getting an external BEC. I feel like the electronics, stock SCX6 electronics, are a little bit on the weaker side for running this servo, whereas the stock electronics and the Super Baja Ray 2.0 are a lot stronger because it has a much bigger ESC, bigger BEC built into that Super Baja Ray ESC. It's kind of like the 8S Creighton system that's in Super Baja Ray. It's actually a bigger motor than what's in the 8S Creighton, I want to say. It's a big motor and it's a low KV in that Super Baja Ray. It's powerful, but this one here, I really think external BEC is a huge benefit. All right, let's see what we do with some snowbanks here. We're gonna see how the SCX6 does, if it can trudge through these bigger snow drifts we have here. Put in that crawling gear. Man, must be some hard snow underneath the new fallen soft stuff, because it's not falling through at all. And with this being a heavy truck, if that was all soft snow, it would just fall right through that. But let's get a great shot of that thing. Here, we'll zoom in. We'll get a great shot of that with the lights on the front coming towards us. And that's a stock lighting kit that comes with the truck. It looks good and it performs well. It actually, you know, here, we'll zoom back out. It actually lights up the trail in front of it pretty decent. You can see the amber hue right there from the corner marker shooting out onto the path. We'll go up here and we'll try another hill. Look at this. This is a big snowdrift right here. Let's see if we can climb this. Oh yeah, right up it. Not even a problem. No slippage, nothing. I have to attribute that to those landmines. Those J Concepts tires. You know, whatever sauce, secret sauce they're putting in their rubber formula, it's one of the best compounds I've used for tires. If you go back to the Terabithia video of the holds that were used on that custom comp crawler build that I made and painted, those hold tires, even in the wet, was able to climb rocks. I mean, it was difficult, but it still did it. All right, let's see what we can do on this terrain right here. All right, there we go. Man, look at that. That is, oh, it's getting a little stuck right there. We'll back up a little bit. Come on. I think we're getting hung up a little. There we go. Speed and power, especially when you're in the snow. Speed and power just fixes everything, but according to Jeremy Clarkson, it fixes everything even not in the snow. However, if you're on the road trying to stay on the road, speed and power is probably not the answer. But getting up hills, off-road, in an RC car, speed and power definitely works. Look at that. Nicely controlled descent. Man, those are definitely some serious, there's some serious depth in the snow too, because just the sidewalls on those tires between the edge of the tire and the rim, I want to say is probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and it's going up to the rim. Let's get in this bowl here and see if we can get ourselves out. Get all the way up here. There we go. Oh, it's digging. It wants to go. Oh, now I dug a rut. Let's see if I can get around it. No. Oh, it got a little further that time. Come on. You know what? We're going to actually try something crazy here. We're going to go into the high gear. Oh, man. It's fighting its way up. It wants to. It wants to launch itself up. Oh. Come on. Oh, now we are just digging ourselves in. Okay, I'm going to have to go get it. Unless... Yep, I'm sinking in a little too. Yeah, look at that. It just dug its way in. There we go. I have to be careful pulling on the back hook behind the spare tire there because the plastic broke on it. just while I was picking it up to carry it into my garage, and it must have impacted there and just got weak, made a weak point, and then just picking it up by the weight of it was enough to split the plastic. So let's see if we can get out of here. That's what I was trying to avoid, was this guide rod for plows. All right, well, let's see about going up next to it right here. See if we can crawl this without stepping on it. There we go. Look at that. All right, you know what? This is a nice, this snowdrift is like peak crawling right here. We're gonna drive it across here. And I don't know if you can see the silhouette of the driver in the truck. Let me zoom in, see if we can see that. Yep, you can see the chin and the face. That's Darth Maul in there driving, using the force to help him get through these obstacles. Zoom back out here now. He is one with the dark side. All right, let's try another snowdrift over here. Man, this truck is so much fun, especially out in stuff like this, because when you're driving this just on trails and stuff like that, you see all the little technical rocks that a 10 scale would be really fun and challenging. And this, it's so big that it just drives over it or can't climb it because just the tires are too big to get fine grip and navigate over it. So, but you take it out in stuff like this where you've got snow drifts and you know, a couple inches of snow to trudge through. All right, now we don't want to roll over and hit that car. So we're going to try to really stick over here where we don't tip and hit that. There we go. Look at that. Yes. That's impressive. And yeah, everything about this truck is just singing in these conditions here. It's not even affected by the cold right now. Inside the tires, we do have the Three Brothers RC no foam inserts. They're 3D printed TPU inserts. And this is the first generation inserts that they made. So it's a two-stage anti-foam. They've got a harder anti-foam in the middle and then a very soft outer layer that's actually a separate piece that slips on over the first layer. So yeah, it's like that two-stage. And then I do have the inserts, the tire fillers to kind of get that bulge out on the outside of the tire. I like that for some of my trucks because, well, it helps protect the rims and the wheels from getting scratched up a little more so. And it also helps with side hilling. All right, let's try to climb this because that's kind of steep. You know what? That's got parts that were just as steep as the benches on the boardwalk that we're trying to climb. And there didn't slip at all, but we've got a lot of texture underneath for this thing to grab onto. So that helps a lot. Oops, sorry, I'm kind of letting the controller drop a little bit. This thing just gets heavy in the hand with the phone and the fact that it's a Noble NB4 Plus, which is definitely not a lightweight controller because it's quality. It's made out of metal and it's a little heavier. So there we go. You know what? We're gonna go up this side here too. There we go. Let's see how this tackles this. Look at that. It's like there's not even, it's like it's not even slipping and sliding on any snow, even though this is all snow. It's just that it's harder, icy snow underneath and that soft powdery stuff on the outside. But even with that, it's like, whatever. I got this, SCX6. Trying to see if I can maybe get up over that thing, that hump on the top. There we go. All right, let's try descending down this way and this way. Now it is cold out here tonight. It's about 20 degrees. And with my thinner gloves, my fingers are definitely getting colder. How you holding up, buddy? All right, we'll walk down a little further and we'll start heading back, okay? You having fun?
Yeah.
Here, we'll take a minute to look at the scenery here. This is the Fox River in Green Bay. Over there, that's the Mason Street. That's the Mason Street Bridge right there. And Fox River Trail is kind of cool. They've got these art sculptures on the trail, which if you're a Pokemon player or an Ingress player, these are all Pokestops or portals, depending if you're playing Pokemon Go or Ingress. So we get a lot of people that play that game that like to walk this trail because there's a lot of stops and things for those games on here. And I play Pokemon Go too. It's actually kind of fun. But what a beautiful night. Look at the snow coming down nicely. Just like winter wonderland scene here right now, here in Green Bay. There's practically no wind. There was a little wind when we first walked in. Before I started recording, we had to walk up kind of an alleyway to get to the trail here from the main street that's right next to us. But now that we've been out here, I haven't been really feeling any wind at all. It's been nice. That looks like it's some kind of, oh, you know what? That looks like it's a map of the Fox River going up the middle of Green Bay, I bet. With the river part cut out. That's exactly what it looks like. And there's even a little plaque to tell you about it. So what it says, river, that says, get it to show on the camera, River Monolith. Whenever I hear monolith, I think 2001: A Space Odyssey. All right, let's hit another snowbank here. These are awesome. You know, these are like these snowbanks kind of remind me of the life-size versions of the Crawlagon tiles we're working on right now. We're working on an SCX30 competition here in Green Bay. It's called Rock Rumble, and it's the first SCX30 competition happening in Northeast Wisconsin. And a colleague of mine, his name is Brad, him and I have been printing nonstop, just about with our printers, this course called Crawlagon. You can find, the Crawlagon's got his own website now, but is also on Cults 3D for the plans. You can go buy the plans, download them, and print them off to make a course for your small scale crawlers, 24th scale, 18th scale. He's got two different size tiles. He's got Crawlagon and then Crawlagon XL. And once again, that SCX30 is just eating up these hills like it's nothing. It's awesome. Again, those landmine tires from J Concepts, I really think are making a difference. I had higher axes on this before, and I found in these conditions in the snow, probably because the higher axes were G8 compound, that they would just spin. They did not grip, dig in, you know, like these really grip and dig in, these J Concepts landmines. And I can't wait to see what they're gonna do in warmer weather when maybe it's a little drier, but shoot, even now. Man, the SCX30 or SCX6 didn't even touch the bottom on that breakover. Anyway, talking about the SCX30 competition, we printed off all those Crawlagon tiles, and we've got a pretty substantial course. We've got, I think, 2 6-foot tables. So those folding, I forget what the brand name is, but those folding tables like you get from Costco, those big ones. We've got 2 of those butted up against each other, and the course takes up the entire 2 tables. So a lot of Crawlagon tiles that we've printed out to make this course and make it fun. Right now, with the way we have the course set up, we have been doing some time trials to see how long it would take a driver to complete it. And, you know, of course, I know the course and know how to complete it quickly, and I get it done in about 2 minutes, 20 seconds. So, whereas somebody who was just driving it for the first time can take anywhere from 4 to 5 minutes. And for, you know, like an indoor thing that's only gonna be a few hours long, it's actually a good amount of time for a run for a crawling competition. I know some crawling competitions you go longer for runs, but it depends on how much time you have to run the competition. So, and how many people you have to compete. Because I think we're only going to be able to have 1 person on the course at a time. We might be able to run 2 at a time if we run the two classes at once, because the way we design the course is you run clockwise on the course for one class and counterclockwise on the course for the other class, because going the one way is harder, more difficult. The lines are harder, more challenging than the other way, okay? Or really just more designed for one class versus the other. And I think that's actually a kind of a smart way to do it. So we've got some rocks down here, but the problem is one wrong move, if you tumble, you're going right into the Fox River, and well, that is not shallow water right there. That is deep. We don't want to do that. So, all right, I think we'll turn around and head back. Anyway, if you're in the Green Bay area and watching this, and you have an SCX30, and you'd like to participate in our crawler competition, it's going to be February 7th at Fast and Fun Toy and Hobby, our local hobby shop. I'll put their logo here on the screen so you can see it and give them a shout out, because they are great. Yeah, look at that. Man, that's some deep snow it's going through on the left side of the trail here. We're going to go through that again. Look at that. Just plows through that like it's nothing. What's not to love about an SCX6 in the snow, guys? And I know it's an expensive truck, and then of course to put the stuff in it to make it run, in my opinion, the way it should, you know, you're looking at spending a decent amount of money more, a few $100 probably, because the Perfect Pass servo is, I want to say, $280. And then if you get the external BEC, just to make sure it's really got good power running it, you know, you're looking at about, I think, another $30-40. So you're in about $300, a little over $300 for the servo and the BEC. And then I do recommend putting some upgrades in the front of this truck to stiffen up that front end and help with the steering, because this truck does have a lot of flex in the front axle for the steering, a lot of flex. So if you look at some Treal or Vitavon parts, or if you're me, a combination of both, huge shout out to Treal. You know, I will say this, as another company that has amazing customer service and really just, I'm going to say beyond fantastic customer service. I've had a couple, you know, just minor issues with some Treal products, and Treal has been, I write them and they take care of it right away. They just send a new product out, like very few questions asked, and they just take care of you. Again, just fantastic customer service with just trying to, like, you know, get you taken care of and get you to what you want to do, which is playing with your RC car and getting you the stuff you need to do that. So, you know what? We're going to crawl this too, because why not? Love you too, buddy. So that's what's on here, our Treal beadlock 2.9s. I really like their 2.9 wheel design too, because they do give you center caps. And what I love about their center caps is they're the kind that screw on with a rubber O-ring. Take a closer look at them quick. Is you've got that center cap, and that just turns in with an O-ring to hold it in place. And I like that a lot better. I like that a lot better than the wheels that they actually integrate that center cap with the 6 screws that are part of the bolt pattern to go into the hub. Because if you have to change these tires, then all you got to do is unscrew that center cap and take your your nut off to get the tire off. Where with other wheels that have a center cap that put that center cap on the bolt pattern, you got to undo 6 screws per wheel to get that center, to get your nut off, to get the wheel off. So you got to do 7 pieces of hardware on other wheels, where in this one, it's just 2 to get each wheel off. It's just unscrewing that center cap and the bolt, and you can change your wheel out. So I like that design. I appreciate that with Treal. Appreciate their customer service. Well done to them. So if you take away anything from this video so far, Treal and Perfect Pass, buy with confidence. Good people, good products, good companies. It's overall good stuff. Anyway, getting back to the SCX6 and just setting it up to drive the way it should drive versus the way it comes out of the box. Can you enjoy this truck out of the box? Absolutely you can. It's pretty capable and pretty fun just out of the box. But just to make it kind of where it should be, like some Axial products are, let's not pretend like, for example, SCX6 for the most part, you got to upgrade the crap out of them to really make them drive the way you hope for the most part. But like this one here, you just got to put some metal parts up in the front to just stiffen up the rigidity of the chassis and the steering, since this is a Panhard 3-link suspension in the front with the steering. So stiffening that up is pretty crucial to getting really good steering and getting the most out of your steering in your servo. There we go. Look at that, just Baja blasting through the snow. Love it. Do it again on this one here too. I'm gonna put all the snow tracks into these hills and side hill this baby. Good, just going, let's see if we can get around the light pole. Yes, we made it. Anyway, you know, you'll spend a little bit on getting those upgrades too. So, like I said, I put Vitavon. Thanks, buddy. I put Vitavon parts in the front as well as Treal parts. So there is the Vitavon ESC servo mount in the front. I also got the Vitavon C-hubs for the ends of the front axles on these. So I still have the stock plastic axles, but in the front I've got those Vitavon metal C-hubs, which kind of go they sleeve over the ends of the axle on each side, and then interface with the wheels and interface with your servo trailing arm, the steering arm, if you will, and the steering link between the two wheels. I upgraded the shock towers and the shock braces, or the braces between the shock towers, to be Treal, all metal. Again, just to kind of give it that rigidity. And I think there might have been one or two other parts that I upgraded with Treal. There's a previous video I did that I showed all the things I did to the truck. But once again, with those, it makes the truck driving experience just a lot better with the upgraded servo and the components that you put in the front. Now, my next thing for this truck I do plan on doing is getting the Vitavon axles. I'm probably going to stick with straight axles. I've seen portals, and while portals are great for clearance, this thing's got a lot of clearance as it is, just being 6 scale. It's pretty big. So while I know portals give you more clearance, I feel that there's a sacrifice in center of gravity, CG, since it's already such a high truck as it is. Let's see if we can get it to bump up onto this thing. Almost. Let's give it a little momentum. No, all right. All right, come on, I started on the side here. It's just kind of bouncing. Maybe if we, again, approach it on an angle. Do this instead. Nope. Straightens out. Okay, maybe a different angle. Oh, got the one side up. If we can keep it up. Go this way. No. This is the challenge of driving out in the snow. It's just everything is so slippery. It just, when you get more challenging things like this, you just don't get the traction. All right, we'll go this way. Yep, there we go. Now we got it. Whoa, one of the boards is loose down there. Did you see that? Let's see if I can. Yeah, look at that. All right, get up into the V. There we go. We're up into the V notch now. Riding the canyon, if you will. You know what? We are going to attempt to get up on the bench one more time. Let's see if we can do it. Oop, nope. Just ran the front right into that. All right, got the wheels full turn and they don't want to go. There we go. Okay, let's see if we can't hit this. Man. Okay. Yeah, it did not want to ride up that hill. Just too slippery. Here's where we tried to climb it earlier. Or no, we came down this. We went through that and came down. Yeah, careful, that's really slippery, buddy. Oh, look at that. We were able to climb up that ledge. All right, let's see about going now. Man, this one's even icier. I'm gonna go into a fast gear here. See if that gives us the wheel speed to get up here. Oh! Yeah, can we get it? No? Woo! Careful. Oh. There we go. No. Oh my goodness. There we go. Look at that. That was kind of cool. What a killer this is. That is. Look at that. I had it out down at Fonferric, which we looked at previously, and let's see, how much further up do we have to go? I think we have to go further up. Yep. And I accidentally, did not mean to do this, but somehow just made a perfect figure 8 with this thing. And after I saw it, I was like, whoa, I stopped right away as soon as I noticed it and took a picture of it. I'll put it up on the screen here, but it was kind of funny. So as I was saying, my next plan for this thing is to get the Vitavon axles, to upgrade the axle housings front and back, simply because it's pretty well known that this truck with the stock plastic axles, because they are plastic, they flex. And as a result of that flex, you can and possibly will strip out the differential gears. And that's just simply the fact that you need to keep that mesh on gears for them to interface properly, and if that mesh gets too loose or too tight, you're going to grind your gears. You don't want that.
You know what really grinds my gears?
So having metal axles in something like this that has this much torque and power and weight is actually a smart thing for just drivability, and the fact that you don't want to be out on a trail and have this thing fail on you where you have to carry it back, because it's 30 pounds with the batteries. And even though 30 pounds doesn't sound like a lot, if you've got to carry it, you know, a few hundred or 1,000, maybe a few thousand feet, depending on how far you've gone, that's a lot. Adds up. I think it's a good upgrade for this truck to get those axles. And of course, if you're going to spend the money on something, my philosophy is get the best you can right away. Just buy once, cry once, so that you're not coming back wishing you had got the better thing, and now you spent that money plus the money for the better thing. This is such a great truck for coming out in the snow, just driving, having fun. And shoot, we're not even really getting out of the city that much, and we were able to have a great time with it. We're right downtown Green Bay, walking along the river. That's the Schreiber Foods building right there in front of us. Again, just look how beautiful this snowfall is tonight. Just absolutely gorgeous. What a great night to go out and go for a walk and have some fun with an awesome truck. All right, we are almost back to our vehicle. We're gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking out Ultimate RC. If you would, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Hit subscribe to help out my channel. I'm a new channel, and you know, it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. It's completely free. And with the way YouTube is, it doesn't like blow up your notifications or anything like that either. So hitting subscribe really is a great way to help support all content creators. And we really, really appreciate you helping us out big time, especially being such a small channel just starting out. Leave me a comment today telling me if you would like to get an SCX6. And if you did, which one would you get? Because there's a Honcho, this one, and a Jeep, and also what color, and what mods would you do to it? Like, what would be your dream ultimate SCX6? All right, thanks so much. We will see you next time. Take care. It's hard to see him because it's so dark, but there's, once again, Darth Maul driving our SCX6. in his samurai armor.